Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You know what happened? When we started off this journey, today we are on the 34th session. When we started off in this journey of understanding our life through the lens of Bhagavad Gita, I think after we reached 24 sessions, in the 25th session, we did a set of reflections, which was at the end of chapter 8. So at the end of chapter 8, we sort of did a set of reflections, and we came with certain thoughts, some ideas, some concepts, some queries, etc., and we tried to deal with them. And then we went on from chapter 9 to 15. Now chapter 9 to 15 thus far that we have done, which is not many, probably about 9 sessions, we have dealt with mostly technical knowledge. Technical knowledge in terms of understanding the technical aspects of Bhagavad Gita. Now, I am not a Bhagavad Gita teacher. What I did is basically I set up this webinar for understanding life through the lens of Bhagavad Gita. I am a Gita student. Like all of you, I am nothing but a Gita student. So what did I do? I have shared what I have learnt and which I have imbibed in my own life journey thus far. So the way it has been useful to me, I have tried to put that across in words, in concepts, in ideas that is beneficial to everybody. So, like how we started off with the prayer, Sahana Bhavatu, I am only acting as a conduit of knowledge. The knowledge that I have derived from the way I have learned, from the way I have imbibed, I am creating that conduit ahead for the benefit of others. So what am I doing in the bargain? I am trying to build a guna of selflessness in trying not to build a new vasana in the bargain. So what I am trying to do is I am trying to create a channel where knowledge flows through whatever I have gathered in whatever manner my language can communicate. I have tried to create that conduit. And I am trying to ensure that I don't build any new vasana, a new tendency in the bargain. But automatically, the moment you do any work, the moment you bring about any thought, a new tendency does get created, because that is the nature of the human mind itself. So if I continue this exercise again after, let's say I finished chapter 18, now we are finished 15, I let's say continue this after chapter 18, which means the vasana of having to speak about this once again comes again. So it is a tendency that gets created, and this is a tendency of goodness. There is no selfishness involved in this. So we started off in chapter 9 about knowing that royal secret, the royal secret about what we are discussing, knowing which we can learn to build qualities of goodness in our own mind and intellect apparatus. The qualities that make us shine with divinity in all our associations in the world. In that shine that we create through our associations, we realized also that there is a cosmic nature of that divinity which is in all of us. And thereby, by relating to every experience we encounter, we know that it is nothing but an expression of that divinity which is within all of us. And moving ahead, we realize that love, which is in our bosom at all times, is that glory in that divinity which helps us connect to that divinity in an attitude of reverence, in an attitude of respect. We realize that if there is at all anything worshipable, it is that divinity within all of us, and that is the one which is expressing through all of us. So when governed by the quality of goodness within us, it radiates positivity. When it is influenced by the dullness, by the ignorance which is in us, it comes out as our negativity, as our destructiveness. And when colored by the restlessness in action, restlessness that we bring about in action, it comes forth as our animated performance in the world. It could be positive or negative depending on what is the predominant tendency. So it is determined by our own past imprints, by our own past tendencies. And we spent a long time in understanding ourselves till we reach chapter 6. So that was a very extensive part. In fact, Till chapter 6 we tried to understand about ourselves, and then we continued that journey till chapter 8. Now going ahead, as we understood the cosmic principle, we will get new doubts, which is what is our state today. Maybe the reasons for our sorrows, basically मेरा गम क्यों हो रहा है, what is the reason for my sorrow, मेरा गम क्यों हो रहा है. So which is what this session hopes to deal with today. That is what I hope to deal with, and for that I must thank all of you for your queries, for your thoughts, for your suggestions and insights. So as we move ahead now, you be ready to unmute or switch on the video to engage in a conversation. Raise a hand when you feel like I am available. मैं आपके साथ हूं क्योंकि आपने मुझे याद किया है. The song that comes to my mind is आपने याद दिलाया तो मुझे याद आया कि मेरे दिल पे पड़ा था कोई गम का साया. In that background, we will try to understand the questions that have come to me thus far. So let's move now. Now in this slide, I am going to share each and every query as they have come, and then I will try to deal with them. So the first one which I got, this is Reflections 3, because we did 2 such slides at the end of chapter 8. Why read chapter 15 when someone dies? This was the question that came to me. Now, chapter 15 is not only read when somebody dies, chapter 15 is also read some places, even at lunch prasad after a discourse, etc. So chapter 15 is read on other occasions too. Chapter 15 is the shortest and the most confidential. Most confidential because Krishna says that in verse 20, that this is the most secret of all the knowledge which I have now shared with you. So from that point of view, it is the most confidential. And it is the shortest because it's got only 20 verses. Now, it is a summarized version of the entire Vedic scriptures. Chapter 15, if you were to look at it, whatever is, Vedas are huge, isn't it? It is like a summarized version of the entire Vedic scriptures. And how does it start with? It starts with an inverted banyan tree. If you remember what I mentioned in the last, it starts with an inverted banyan tree. What is that question of the inverted banyan tree? Let us see that you are seeing a banyan tree which is on the land, and you are seeing a reflection of that banyan tree on, let's say, a pond or a lake or something like that. When you see the reflection, it looks ulta. That is how it will look because of the reflection. So what this really means is that roots, which means our connection to our world of materiality, is coming from the highest principle, which is the God, the divinity within all of us. So we learn, because we are bound in our roots, we are bound into our world of materiality. We are bound in our actions of what I know my relationships are, what I know as my work is. We are bound by our own tendencies, our imprints, our mind and intellect. It is binding us to whatever our experiences are. So this binding which is there to the world of materiality, how is it that we can unbond ourselves with our own attachments which is there? So this highest principle, which is typically the inverted look at it. You know, when you say the highest is the roots are higher. That's what it says, isn't it? That the highest principle is the one above. So when you unbond yourself from that world of materiality and you connect with the highest principle, there is nothing greater to be known, no matter what is there in the world. So whether it is at death, whether it is in living condition, there is nothing higher than that to be learnt in the world. So that is why chapter 15 is so significant. The next question that came was, what is the meaning of chapter 14 verse 24 and 25? We'll deal with that also. Now when you look at 24 and 25 combined together, why are we always attracted to the pair of opposites? Why is it that we are either always governed by pain and pleasure, by who's dear to me and who's not dear to me? We are governed by what is honor, what is dishonor, what is praise and what is censure, like criticism, who's a friend, who's a enemy. We are always in that, two opposites. So the nature of our mind is to run after one and run away from the other. This is the nature of our mind. And determined by these opposites, we seek happiness in one and we distance from the other because it gives us sadness. Now, if I were to give you an example, let's say that you are afraid of a dog and a dog is chasing you. What you will do? You will run and the dog will run faster than you, and you are only praying that the dog doesn't catch up with you. You will keep running. Dog is something which you are afraid of and you are running away from, and the dog keeps chasing you. This is what happens to that which we don't like. And let us say that there is a small child, maybe your grandchild or maybe your child, and you're playing with the child. The child has just now learnt walking or walking a little faster. The child runs away from you and you run after the child because you want to catch the child. You're all full of love. You're running after the child and the child runs faster than you. And then finally you hug that child. You hold the child, hug it. You lift the child and lift it up because it is something very dear to you and you want to hug that. This is the nature of our mind. Farther we run away from sorrow, it follows us. The more we run after joys, further they go away. So the idea in these two verses is learn to treat both of them similarly. Either experience can come. So be it. The experience has come. If I were to take the dog example, I'm not saying that you wait for the dog to bite you. But if you look at the tendency of dogs, if you stand there, they will come and smell you. And you sort of stroke the dog smoothly, the dog will become your friend. The idea is that the more you try to befriend that which you don't like, you may come across some qualities in that which are not bad at all. So it is our own imprints in our mind that I don't like this, so I'm running away from it. I like this, so I want to stay back. So let my inner qualities not get tainted by either of these experiences. I will learn the art of remaining balanced. This is the way you look at these two verses. Another question that came was, how to remain undisturbed by my gunas? Now let us understand this. How can gunas disturb me? Now the most important thing to remember is that gunas are dynamic. They are always changing. It is never static. When the change occurs, be observant. We react. We act. But we never analyze why. So observation of our mind, observation of our thoughts is the work of an attentive intellect. Cultivate this discrimination. It comes gradually. It comes by practice. Learn how to observe your mind through meditation. Meditation in that way is a tool for understanding how we can observe our mind. From a quiet place only, that is only from a quiet mind, observation is possible. So learn the art of smiling at your own stupidity or at your own negativity. Don't get frustrated when something bad happens. Don't get frustrated when the things are changing. Gradually, as you lose your ability to get frustrated, gradually as you learn the art of smiling at your own stupidity, the mind loses its power to be swayed by the dynamism of the gunas. This is how you ensure you don't get influenced by your gunas. Now, how to control anxieties and panic? This was another question. Now, let us understand what is the reason for anxieties and panic. Anxieties and panic are caused by expectations that are not likely to be met. At the first instance, that is the reason why your anxiety. You are anxious about something which you want to happen or probably which you don't want to happen, and that which you want to happen is unlikely to happen, and that which you don't want to happen is likely to happen. And because of that, this expectation gap is what creates the anxieties and panic. So the first important thing is set realistic goals. Having set realistic goals, revisit those goals regularly to check if they are actually realistic of achievement or not. Sometimes we set some unrealistic goals, and because they are not met, we get anxious, we get panic. So that should not be the case. And monitor your own efforts in the direction of those goals. Is there something which I have to do to meet those goals? Is my effort proper? Am I in the right track? If they are not up to the mark, correct the efforts. Thoughtfulness in setting the goals, mindfulness in the process of actions towards those goals, and of course, an element which is called others prarabdha. We call it luck, isn't it? Many times we call it luck. Others prarabdha. Sometimes a result we expect does not come entirely because of our efforts. there is somebody else who's contributing to that result also. That is called others prarabdha. Assuming that my prarabdha, which means my own destiny to that goal is right, others prarabdha can also decide the result that I will encounter. So learn the art of equanimity. This is also possible, that is also possible. So in all situations, if your goals are realistic, your efforts are also proper, sometimes on factors which are not in your control, results may come a little adverse. So be ready to take that. You need not, then you cannot panic, no? Because once your mind is ready, that this is also possible, that is also possible, I am not going to get disturbed by a result which is contrary to my expectations, then automatically the ability of the mind to panic will subside. Failure happens first in the mind. In the mind, if you think you are going to fail, you will start creating panic. You will start becoming anxious. So first and foremost, remove the idea that failure is going to happen in your mind. Correct that, everything else will fall in place. Remember one thing, all that is happening now in the real world has already occurred in your mind. This is only a manifestation of something which has already occurred, and that is coming as a reality now. If you remember this, you will not allow failure to become, let's say, your enemy, and then in the bargain you become anxious or you become panic. How to remain calm when deliberately provoked? Bound to happen. People do provoke us sometimes, and sometimes deliberately. So when you look at it from that perspective, what is provocation? Provocation is someone knowingly or unknowingly tries to unsettle your mind, either by speech or by action, and you take offense to that. So first, someone has either knowingly or unknowingly, need not always be knowingly, sometimes unknowingly also, tries to unsettle your mind by speech or by action. So their speech or their action has unsettled your mind, and you take offense to that. That is called provocation. So what is the art to be learned? Learn the art of not minding other people's business. To unsettle your mind is their business. You don't mind that because you have no control over that. So learn the art of not minding other people's business, and let not other people mind your business. Your business is to do what you are doing. If they are interfering with your business, you just first and foremost don't mind that. That is their nature. But let not them mind your business. How that comes? This comes from constantly pausing when we receive unpleasantness. Unpleasantness we will receive, no? From whosoever it is. Somebody close to us also will do it. Somebody not close to us will also do it. Unpleasantness we will receive. We have no control over what other people will do. We have two options. Allow that unpleasantness to unsettle you, or let that bounce off you. That is left to you. So at the first instance, learn to remain silent. Pause for a while. Think if the transmission which is coming from the other side was warranted or unwarranted. Which means, was that provocation necessary or unnecessary? Sometimes I said knowingly or unknowingly it can happen. Was it necessary or unnecessary? If it is unwarranted, politely and firmly express your opinion. Polite but firm. Express your opinion. This is not required. So what are the ways you can communicate? I think this was uncalled for. This what you did was uncalled for. I think you are needlessly exaggerating the situation. Small sentences. At this moment, is this the subject we are dealing with? Why are you bringing this up now? I am not going to get influenced by your thinking. So these are statements which are in your own domain, but firm, soft, polite, but communicate. The power of the transmission to trouble you will automatically reduce. If the power of that transmission to trouble you is getting reduced, you will not get disturbed. And gradually, they will also stop the transmission, because the moment they know that their behavior or words are bouncing off you, then they will not come back at you. So this is the attitude that you need to develop. And of course, tell them to sing this song, because they are the ones who are unsettling you. They are angry or whatever it is because of what you said. Probably they may also get a little cheesed off or irritated. Tell them to sing this song. तू रूठा दिल टूटा मेरे यार को मना दे, वो प्यार फिर जगा दे, भोले हो भोले. Remember one thing, all people, everyone at heart are innocent, simple. It is this qualities that they have built about themselves which is making them do things which are not right. So if you are in a position to bring back that love within everybody's heart, in the way you interact, in the way you behave, automatically the power of that to trouble you and their own power to trouble you will also get diminished. There is some chat coming in.
Suresh, can't hear you.
You can't hear me? What is this new thing?
Very low tone.
ये क्या हो गया?
Suddenly.
Suddenly?
Yeah, now it's okay.
ये क्या हो रहा है?
A little 1 second, 2 second back. It was not okay.
It is okay now?
Yeah. Now it's fine. Now
I didn't do anything. I'm just continuing to talk.
Yeah. That's fine, Suresh. No problem.
Okay.
Now it's okay.
So this is what is the attitude which is required from us. Now let us take the next thought. I am unable to speak to seniors freely, even when they are wrong. Which means I get tongue-tied. When I want to say something, my mind says that there is something wrong, and yet I am unable to communicate. I am unable to speak something because something is stopping me. What is it that is stopping me? Let us try to understand this in one dimension or maybe a couple of dimensions. We can think about this. Now, inability to express to seniors even if they are wrong, I am reminded of two management rules. In management, there are two rules. The first rule is the boss is always right. Second rule is if the boss is wrong, refer rule number 1. Now, this is one way of saying that in a company, in a place where you are working, everything is decided by the boss, go by what the boss says. Fine. In an organization where goals are determined by the management, this is perfectly fine. But in personal life we can't take it, isn't it? Because there is nothing like anybody is a boss. At workplace, he is a boss because he is the person who's employed me. He is the person who's giving me salary. Okay, boss, I will listen to you. But in personal life, nobody is my boss. I'm an independent person. So how do I deal with this? Now, age or position does not have the right does not have the ownership for being right. Because you are old, because you are in a senior position, does not mean that you have the ownership for being right. It's very important to analyze if my view, my opinion, my thoughts are right, and whether they are based on welfare and no harm for others. This is important for everybody to remember, including the seniors. Now, once I'm at the receiving end. Now, at the receiving end, once I know that my thoughts about that situation, that the senior is wrong, that the senior is not, doing it for welfare, the senior is causing harm. If this is my thought and there is enough balance in my mind to understand that my opinion, my view is correct, I'm not saying I must express my views softly. Sometimes these can be by subtle actions. Like for example, in husband and wife, etc., this is very possible. Wife is angry with the husband. Husband is saying something, wife is angry. Now she doesn't want to argue with him. What she will do? Pick up the plate and bang it. Bang! What? The message is loud and clear. I didn't like it. Now it is for the husband to understand that, oh, she's not liked it. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I said something wrong. Go, honey, I'm sorry. I should not have done that. Now, see, idea is that the relationship is more important. But the communication must be initially subtle in actions so that the message is conveyed. Sometimes subtlety doesn't reach their minds. It doesn't reach their mind. So, speaking clearly speaking inoffensively, speaking effectively is very, very essential. So speaking is very, very important. So all of us are in our own journey. Understand this. Whether it is me, whether it is my senior, we are all in our own journey. Seniority is a position granted by providence. You are in a position of seniority. By providence you are there, either by age or by position. We should maintain that decorum. In our communication to the senior, we should maintain that decorum. But we cannot become a victim of that behavior. So speak freely, speak fairly. This is very, very essential in every relationship. We'll go ahead now. How to get money and time abundantly? This is a question which came to me. Now, which means what? I need money and I need time abundantly. Why do you need it? 24 hours is the same for everyone, isn't it? Is there anybody who's got more than 24 hours? Not a millisecond more. Anybody got less than 24 hours? Not a millisecond less. That time that we have is used for working. It is used for spending with family. It is used for our societal tasks. It is used for our enjoyment. Now the problem is when one of them becomes a priority, because that time gets consumed by that priority. Now if I were to take money as an example, money is required to keep family happy. Money is required to keep a societal status. Money is required to make enjoyment possible. So money is the tool that helps us meet these goals. Now to earn that money, honestly of course, to earn that money, working is essential, obviously. So the time that we spend in work reduces our time for others. So it becomes a vicious cycle. This is where our mind is getting challenged. Now, some of my contemporaries don't seem to have problem for money. They have plenty of money. They have money for everything. And there are some contemporaries of mine who are constantly waiting for money to come. They're working, waiting for money to come. So happiness is not determined by time or money. Happiness lies in spending my time fruitfully to meet my own goals. If money is less, I will travel by public transport. If money is less, my children will go to public school. If money is less, I will be happy holidaying with just pani puri outside the building. So the mindset should be that happiness is priority always. Situations cannot determine my happiness. If that mindset is there, even at work, what will happen is, even as I am moving ahead in my work, I will get money. Money comes in the course of whatever work I do. I will get avenues to earn. If I am happy from that position, I'm sorry. What is it, Kumar? Sorry. He was one of our participants. I don't know why he called me. So, if money is less, with what is less, I should be in a position to manage. Money will come. In the course of my work, money will come. The time that is available with me, if I were to use that constructively, I should be able to go at the end of the day for a comfortable sleep. I have done all that is required of me to do for the day. I have done all my duties. I have done all my pleasures, everything well. If sorrows have hit me, it is understandable that this is what it is. I must be equanimous. So the situations then will not determine my happiness. I am reluctant to ask questions in public for the fear of being judged. Many of us face this situation, isn't it? Now the fear of being judged, because of which I don't want to ask. Now all the minds, let us understand this, all of us have the same issues. Depending on our life situation of the moment, our challenges seem different at different times. If my life situation is like this today, that my children, daughter is married, son is, in a matter of time he will also get married, they are well settled. My life situation is now different. So my issues are different. At the moment, my issues would have been different 10 years earlier. My issues could be different 10 years later. But all minds have the same issues. It is just my life situation which sort of keeps me away from this and keeps me engaged in something else. Every one of us will have the same issues. All of us want the same thing. All of us want to be happy always. Anybody says, I don't want to be happy always? No. Everybody wants to be only happy and happy always. Now, everyone's curiosity That is the nature of the human mind. Everyone is curious. So everyone wants to know how is it that I can be happy always. Everyone wants to know that how I can overcome my problems always. So this is something which everyone faces at all times. Now, because that is the nature of the human mind, we must feel fortunate that we can articulate what others can't. Fear of being judged is not at all a fear, because I can put into words something which you cannot put into words. I must feel happy that I am able to use my words to communicate something. So, our restlessness to know something can only be satisfied if we ask. And once we ask, पूछेंगे नहीं तो पता कैसे चलेगा कि जिंदगी क्या है. And the song that comes to my mind is, पूछो ना कैसे मैंने रैन बिताई, एक पल जैसे एक जुग बीता, जुग बीते मोहिनी नाई. If I do not ask, I will spend more time in restlessness, wanting to know something which I want to know, but because of my reluctance, I did not ask. So be sure that this challenge which I am facing, the question that I want to ask, is something which everybody faces. Stupid though it may be, ask. Because unless you ask, you will not get. Is Sanskrit essential for knowing Gita? This was a question which was asked. So let us go back to that. Let me go back to that. This brings me to my Puja Gurudev. You're seeing him here. Sanskrit is not essential for Bhagavad Gita. If you ask me personally, I am not good at chanting, but I am good at understanding the import of the meaning. And I have not learned Sanskrit formally. I have not learned Sanskrit. So by repetitively listening to the words that come to me, repetitively listening to my Gurudev, it has instilled in my mind an understanding. And my capability of language is a medium for communication of my thoughts. So, in the way you know, if I speak, my message will reach you. So, you must learn chanting. Sanskrit, even though you don't know, you must learn chanting. Because the glory of Bhagavad Gita itself lies in her language. But very important that you know what you are chanting and how it affects you. The more you internalize what you have learned, the more it aids your own growth. So I must thank Puja Gurudev. Now Gurudev himself was somebody who learned, he became saintly learning Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures. But he wanted to reach out the Bhagavad Gita to the masses. In his first talk, when he came to Pune, his audience was 4 people on the day 1. 4 people. On the 30th day, there were 1,000 people. The question is, in the way he communicated, in the language of his communication, people who did not have any idea of what is Bhagavad Gita, they came to know the importance and the, how it is going to make a difference to their life. So that is what you must understand. Not knowing Sanskrit is not a crime, but know the import of what you are chanting. So before, in obeisance to Gurudev, I just want to sing a small song which is dedicated to him. Gurudev tava mahaniya kripa mere jeevan ka avlamban hai, bas ek yahi मेरा बल है. गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा, अज्ञान भरे संशय से भरे, विपरीत विचारों से भी भरे, मन के अंधकार को दूर करे, वचनामृत से तव बोध कृपा. पल पल पग पग जीवन पथ पर, गुरु साथ मेरे रक्षक बनकर, बिसरूं न कभी ये प्रेममयी आनंदमयी भवनीय कृपा. गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा. So with that we will go to the next set of questions. Reflections 4. Now, here is quickness of rebirth. So when I am dead, I have left this body. Because this I spoke about in chapter 15. I have left this body. After I leave this body now, will I return to a new body immediately? What is the time period? I left this and I came back. What is the time period it will take for me to return? Or will I visit a place called hell or heaven and do whatever? Hell, I have to suffer all my sins. Heaven, I have to suffer, enjoy all my good things that I did. Finish all that business and come back to return to a new body. The beauty of this is that nobody knows what they have done. Nobody has gone there and come back and said, I did that. Fortunately, nobody has done that, because otherwise it will become a very great comparison benchmark. No, if one person says, I went there, it is very nice. I went there, oh my God, it is such a great hell. And I came back, oh my God, you should never go there. We will live our life here thinking, where is that hell? What is that heaven? Correct? Fortunately, nobody has done. But let us understand this a little differently. Where did we say, when we were discussing about chapter 2, we said that like how I discard my clothing to go from office to a party, like that I discard this body and wear a new body to attend a new business. And the new business is determined by my own imprints, by my own vasanas. Remember, we discussed that while we were talking about chapter 2. So, depending on my tendencies, depending on what my choices are, I will have to do the role which is required of me. For doing the role required of me, if I don't have party clothes, then what will I do? I will not attend the party. And let's assume that parties are there on 2 days. First day, I don't have party clothes. Next day morning, before going to office, I will go to the shop and I buy a party shirt. Next day evening, I will attend the party, because now I have a party shirt. Correct? So when I have a party shirt, I will attend the party. Similarly, when a conducive body is available for me to come in a conducive circumstance suited to my own imprints, I'll come back. So I don't know when that will happen. I don't know. Very, very lucky. We don't have memory of that. Because if we had memory, my God, our life will be a living misery. So because we don't have memory of that, we are happy. So important thing to know is that when I leave this body, what goes away from my body is that life principle. Where does it go? It doesn't go anywhere, because it is always there. The way it was energizing this body, it is not in a position to energize this body. It will energize another body. Now, where is that another body? That another body will come when this mind and intellect's choices, imprints, vasanas, whatever are its tendencies, it finds expression for it, it will come there. Let us take, for example, Adi Shankaracharya. It's said that by the age of, I think, 7 or 8, he had completed learning everything, including the Vedas and everything. And then by the age of 16, he had finished all his writings on whatever he had to write. And from 16 onwards, he went across the country for the next 16 years, propagating this knowledge to different people. So he engaged in discourses, he engaged in debates, propagating this knowledge. How is it possible for a 7-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy to complete like that? How is it possible for a 4-year-old boy to learn certain things so early? Because on the basis of the imprints gathered earlier, he came into the world through parents who were able to find expression for him in that circumstance. That is how it will come. So it is not only about him, it is about his parents also. It is not only my choice which will determine where I will come. It is also the choice of my parents, the way it will come. So it is an amalgam which is happening in the universe, an amalgam which we are not aware of. Whether there is a physical hell, physical heaven, luckily nobody has come back and reported that this is the picture of that. Nobody has given me that idea. But let us understand that whatever bad things I do, I will suffer for that here and here again. And if I leave that suffering incomplete, I will have to come back and suffer it later. Please understand this, because there is nothing like a karma which is left incomplete. If I keep doing good, the effect of that will be enjoyed by me here, and it will be enjoyed by me later also. Because all I am changing is the shirt. I don't have memory. The shirt and the memory is what I am changing. My imprints are traveling. That is the way you can understand, so that you are not in any confusion. Isn't someone else's evilness, just their prakriti? This was a question. That somebody is behaving evil, somebody is behaving badly. Isn't that their prakriti, their own nature? The prakriti meaning their body of matter. Mind and intellect is what? Matter apparatus. Tendencies are what? Matter apparatus. Isn't that their own prakriti? Yeah, it is their own prakriti. So, but because it is their prakriti, what is it that I need to do? Let us understand that. Sorry. Because it is their prakriti, should I get affected? Now, it may be their prakriti. How is it that you receive it? Can you help that person in overcoming that? Because it is simply nothing but matter, isn't it? So matter can be modified because it is again dynamic on the basis of whatever is the new purushartha that you give, on the basis of the new imprints that you give, it can change. So are you in a position to give them that insight to change it? It is not necessary for you to do. If you are unable to do that, don't try to hammer that, no, I have to be the, the agent for change. Not required. Understand that this is their nature. If you can, in a subtle manner, give them an indication that they need guidance to improve upon it, provide that. Otherwise, accept that this is their nature. Then you will not be disturbed. Aren't non-idol worshippers stronger than bhaktas? There are some people who are idol worshippers. They have a imagery, they have some name, they do some bhajans, etc., etc. They have this kind of a way of worship. And then there are non-idol worshippers, which means that they are people who don't believe in an image, who don't believe in a name. They believe that their humanity, their goodness, the things that they do is all that they know. Is it that they are stronger than the bhaktas? Understand one thing. The quality of goodness, the quality of being gentle, the quality of being non-jealous, quality of being non-greedy, the quality of being detached. These are all things which everybody must have. Now the person who's saying, apparently saying that, I pursue humanity, if he is getting attached to the concept that I am being very humane, I am being very, my social service, my karma is all that I do, etc., etc. And he gets attached to that. And in the bargain, he starts saying that those who are idol worshippers or those who believe in a god, etc., they are all humbug. It is easy to say, but are you living the way you are, I mean the scriptural way of living? Are you living a spiritual life? If you are living a spiritual life, definitely they are good. But what about those people who are, having a name or a form or a bhajan or something like that they are doing? Their mental attitude is that of devotion. Their mental attitude is that of being attracted to love. So they also pursue whatever the other person does, plus their attitude is towards love. Maybe that person, the first person, does not understand how to love. So gradually, as you teach that person how to love, and for how to love, it need not be necessarily an idol, need not be a image, need not be a name. It could be his child. It could be some downtrodden. It could be a person living in hunger. Could be anybody. They are all nothing but image of God, isn't it? So ultimately, you have both coming into everybody. Humanity as well as an ability to worship something which is not me, higher than myself. That is important. Now, in the evilness that we were talking about earlier, there is a victim. I am the victim because the other person is, evilness is his prakriti. And he is a perpetrator. Now, the question is that the victim and the perpetrator of evil are just playing their prarabdha due to their prakriti. Which means that the evil person is behaving evil because it is his nature. I am the victim. I am suffering that evil because it is my prarabdha. But where is my purushartha? Where is my self-effort to grow out of that? Where is his self-effort to grow out of that? So the self-effort of mine is necessary. If I resign to the fact that that is simply a prarabdha which is playing and that there is no role for self-effort, then I am being defeatist. That is not what I am supposed to do. Prarabdha is that which comes my way. What I do with what comes my way is my purushartha. So the evil that has come my way, how is it that I deal with it? I don't have to be evil. I can still be a cause for making that evilness go in the way I deal with it. And I can also be an agent of change for myself by not allowing that evil to change my own inner nature of goodness, my own inner nature of being, growing, into a better person, evolving into a better person. So that is entirely left to my Purushartha. Just leaving it at Prarabdha is not sufficient. My goodness is not appreciated, or it is considered as my weakness. There are some people who think like that. I do a lot of good, I do a lot of nice things, but then it is not appreciated. It is considered as my weakness, because of which what? Every time I do something good, they don't appreciate, they don't be grateful to me. And then it is considered as a weakness. They come back to me, and because it is my inner nature, I keep on doing good. See, if your nature is to keep on doing good, you must understand that that is your nature. That is important to understand. Now, if you want to change your nature, that means you are bringing your Purushartha. That I will not do this. It has become a continuous mockery of my being good. I think I will not do this. I'll put a full stop to this. You have every right to do that. And you have every duty to do that. Because you cannot allow any person to take undue advantage of you. If that is happening continuously, move away. Learn the art of moving away. 1. 2. Why is it that you are expecting goodness should be appreciated? You are doing good because it is in your nature to do good. Why is it that you should be appreciated? Why is it that you should somebody must be grateful to you? You did it because you wanted it. If you don't want it, then don't do it. If you are doing good and expecting that the others must say, oh, nice, you did good. Oh, I am really thankful to you. If that expectation is there, every time you do something, you are looking at the other person. Huh? Where is the thank you? When is the thank you coming? Huh? When is the very good coming? Why? Behaving like a child. Allow your mind to be the way it is. Keep doing good that you are doing. But don't become a victim of somebody taking undue advantage of you. That you must remember. Parental care is only son's swadharma. And if a daughter were to do it, it is paradharma. In our culture, it is normally the sons who look after parents. And daughters get married and they go to another house, and the daughters become daughters-in-law of another house. And then there they look after their in-laws. So that becomes their duty. But who said it is their paradharma? Who said it is not my swadharma? Swadharma is that which I am supposed to do. Which I am capable of doing. It is in my tendency to do. It is in my wish list of things that I want to do. That is my swadharma. There are many sons who don't do this parental care. So if they don't do it, it cannot become their swadharma. Swadharma is not somebody else imposing it on you. Swadharma is swadharma, my dharma. Swadharma is the swadharma of sugar is to be sweet. The swadharma of fire is to be hot. Swadharma. What is paradharma? That which is not swadharma, which means I follow somebody else's footsteps, not thinking what is my duty. That is paradharma. I imitating somebody else. That is paradharma. So swadharma is not something somebody else imposes on you. Swadharma is that which comes to you because of what you are. So if you own something, if you own that it is my duty, it is your swadharma. So if the daughter says, it is my duty to look after my parents in their old age, it is her swadharma. She chose. There is nothing called paradharma. The son has no business to say, no, daughter, it is not your job to do. No. She has taken the ownership of doing it. It is her swadharma. You have taken the ownership of doing it. It is your swadharma. Now the duty that we talk about in the world of things and beings, that is not swadharma. Swadharma is that which comes from within myself. That which I am, that is my swadharma. And that which is being imitated from somebody, that is paradharma. So there is nothing like so somebody else can tell you what you should do. Please understand this. Is a human guru needed? Can't I evolve myself? Do I need a human guru? First lesson in this guru-disciple business is to understand. When the disciple is ready, the guru comes. The guru does not need any disciples. A teacher doesn't need students. Students, when they are ready, the teacher comes. This is the important lesson in life. Who is the teacher? Teacher can be anybody. You don't need to necessarily sit in front of a person and say that he is my guru. No. You hear something from somebody, some good things from somebody. That person or that what you heard becomes your guru. Now that person you may not know, but it will ring in your memory. For years and years, I heard this there. Oh my God, I forgot the name of that person who was speaking. My God, but that's such a beautiful thought. Your guru. So our fixation with the idea that another human being cannot be my guru is itself a fixation, because knowledge travels in the form of a conduit from a person who has gathered that knowledge, gathered that wisdom, and he's becoming a channel for giving that knowledge to somebody who is thirsty for that knowledge, thirsty for that wisdom. So it is like a pipe. So in a pipe, can you say that this part of the pipe is important, that part of the pipe is not important? It is not. Knowledge is free flowing. The guru is only a conduit. When that is ready, it is like, when that valve is ready, this valve will be released. It is like that. So no guru, good gurus, no guru wants disciples. When the disciple is ready, the guru will arrive on the scene. Who that guru is, we don't know. Allow things to evolve by itself. The Kauravas, were they standstill during the dialogue of the Gita? This was one question that came to me. This is the last question I'm dealing with. And then if there is something else which has come on WhatsApp, I think I'll just check that. Oh, there are a couple on, there is one query on WhatsApp. Okay. If you were to chant Sanskrit Bhagavad Gita, you are a master in chanting Bhagavad Gita, your entire chanting will not last more than half an hour, maximum 20-25 minutes, the entire thing will be over. When did Arjuna tell Krishna to place the chariot in the middle of the battlefield? The morning of the first day. Conches have to be blown by both sides. And when both sides blow their conches, only the war starts. Till then the war doesn't start. So Arjuna, before declaring that war, told Krishna to go and stand in the middle of the battlefield. For what? To see who are those people who are in battle against me. And he said, when he saw, the entire dialogue started. Remember, Krishna is Godhead himself. Krishna is the person who's the embodiment of all the knowledge. What is Arjuna? A very great scholar and a very great warrior. It is a conversation between them which went on for 700 verses. It would have not lasted more than half an hour. So during that time, whether the Kauravas were in a standstill or whether they were perplexed, whether they were confused, it is like, when we have AGM in society and all, what we say, the meeting is convened at 9 o'clock. If there is inappropriate quorum, the meeting stands reconvened to 9:30. If there is inappropriate quorum, then the meeting stands reconvened to 10 o'clock. Whosoever is present at 10 o'clock will be the quorum for the meeting. We understand this? Exactly the situation. Until Arjuna blows the conch, which probably would have lasted half an hour. We need reams and reams of paper, loads and loads of cassettes and DVDs, plenty and plenty of listening and reading for understanding something which is our Bhagavad Gita. They didn't, because they were brilliant people. In the conversation, their mind captured everything in a moment like this. So let us not assume that they were waiting and then this discourse went on for one day. It must have lasted a very short time. So these are the questions. I have one more question which has come on WhatsApp. Basically, what the question is that when I read or when I listen, I feel that I should become positive. I should get my mind free of all negativities. But the negativities come back again. Please understand one thing. The nature of the mind is to get attracted to that which is attractive. And that which is very knowledgeable but less attractive, it learns to leave it as residue. Oh, that day I heard this. But what happened? I am so busy with what I am doing. Correction of the mind is the first thing that we need to do. The moment I realize that there is something which is coming to me in the form of this knowledge, I must first distill that 1%, 2%, 5%, distill that and receive it. Once I receive it, 1%, 2%, 5% of what I received, implement it. Slowly, like the tortoise. If you remember in second chapter, I gave you that idea. Like the tortoise, slowly start implementing it. This progress is one way, because once you enter the street of spirituality, there is no return back. Nobody returns. Everybody is on that path slowly, depending on how you are in a position to imbibe and work on yourself. So have faith in yourself that you will be able to work little by little. How ants collect food, like standing in a chain. One ant gives one sugar cube to the sugar a small crystal to the other, and then they go on and accumulating. Like that, you become an ant, gathering, so that finally when you reach your destination, you will have this much of wisdom available with you. That is the way you must move ahead. So this is what I had to share with you. If there is anything more, you are most welcome to. Oh my God, it is already 5:57. I thought I'll have be able to give you time to unmute yourself and ask. But if there is anything, you can ask me. Please go ahead. If there is anything that you want to ask me even after this, please, most welcome. You can unmute yourself, unlock your video, and come back and ask me anything that you want. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Bye bye and have a nice weekend, all of you, as always. You can
Bye
drop
bye,
in your
sir.
you can drop in your messages anytime you like.